I look like a bit of a ragamuffin today, but we're gonna go with it because this sample is my only sample and she needs to go into the mail today, and I'm trying to catch the mail person before they leave. So I wanted to talk a little bit and introduce you to the home Honeycomb Shawl. I'm not even getting the name right. The shawl is massive. It is so long. I knit it in about 3 days. Talk about some pressure. This one is done in some lovely Lion Brand Thick and Quick. I use one tweed, and then I use just the regular like semi-solid colors. That's actually the end of it. We'll start at the beginning. She's about a foot long, give or take. She could even be longer. She's a very free-formy kind of pattern. You start here, you do some color work, then you do a little bit more color work, then you do a little bit of seed stitch for some texture, and then we come into the last bit of color work, and then I just did a flat one color. I love this section so much. Love this section. So the shawl's pretty easy, pretty simple. The color work's not hard, and it's very forgiving. Like honestly, if you mess up on the color work, you're gonna be fine. You do increase the same time as you're doing the color work, so you do need to pay attention to your charts and the way how your chart is growing as you add more stitches. But you only increase on one side. I don't know. I don't know what else I could say about this thing. It's pretty simple in my eyes. I probably already said that 5 million times, but I didn't really put any instructions for the colors. You can kind of do whatever you want for the colors. I used 4 colors. You're gonna at least need 2. It's about 400 yards, and I have a good amount of leftover. The nice thing about using the Lion Brand is that it's pretty cheap, which is nice. And I would play with the colors like throughout. Like this is obviously just 2 colors, but then when I did this section, I switched my colors and then I kept one main color. So it was like kind of like that tweed was my main color. And then the seed stitch. This part I love because I changed the color throughout, but I kept the white. So you can, it's so cool. I saw it on this like design on this scarf at Free People online, and I like really wanted the scarf, so I was like, I can make my own. So once you're done knitting this gigantic piece, you got to put on your fringe. That's why you do yarn overs. You do yarn overs there, you do yarn overs when you finish. I put tassels on all the corners, and then I added fringe at most, if not all, of my yarn overs because they make a perfect little hole to put it in. I use a lot of scrap for mine. So I took a whole bunch of scrap yarn, cut it into like one length. I didn't trim it, so it was like totally uniform and perfect. And then I would attach it in like every other hole. And then I went in with my scraps of this, cut those into strips, and then put them like after every other one. So there was some kind of like uniformity in it, but it's still kind of crazy. I wanted this to give, like, you don't know if she got it at a thrift store or if she made it. And it's a little chaotic and it's a little weird looking, but in the same way, it kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, that's a lot, but it looks good. Yeah. And it's also very big. It's perfect for fall. It's perfect to drape over yourself. It comes out to be pretty long too. And it stays where it's supposed to. It doesn't move, which I also really like. I don't know, it's very much like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go out. I was thinking that I made this for a, well, I finished this for a future I don't know what to call it, but when it comes out you'll see it if this piece makes it there on time. I was thinking, like, if I had, or if you're in a scenario of like you have a little rich auntie and the rich auntie's pulling up with her dish to Thanksgiving, but she's like, once upon a time she was an art teacher, she kind of thrift shops, she does go to Free People, like that kind of vibe. I was like, ooh, what would she walk in with, you know, with her dish? And I'm like, she would walk in with this shawl, and it would be like this kind of like, oh yeah, this whole thing, yeah, I got it. And you know, it would be a dramatic thing for her to like hang up her shawl and get to her seat. And I don't know, I love the colorwork that I picked for it. I think the colorwork has a modern feel to it without feeling too grandma-y, but it changes up and switches up enough that it's a little bit of a Lego. Very forgiving pattern. You could literally cast this on without even gauge swatching, in all honesty, because it's a shawl, in my opinion. Just know that it is long, it is a little heavy. I take the larger section, put it over my shoulder, and then wrap the skinnier one around, and then that's how I will probably wear it, and then shift it over so that it's covering. Right? You can buy yarn for this. You can stash dye for it. It's a super bulky, as most of my patterns are, and it's a size 17 US needle. You could use different sections for different colors if you only have a little bit of that color. There's a lot of play in here. There's a lot of fun in here. Also, excuse me, you can switch around where you do certain things. There's really no like, you have to do this color work at the end. If you want to keep it at the end and you really love it, you could do 2 sections of it. You could do your C-stitch in the beginning. Like the pattern is not written to be like, this is what you do, this is how many stitch count you have. Like, it's very loosey-goosey and creative, and if you mess up, no one's gonna know. If you're doing your color work and you don't like the idea of adding on and trying to keep track of your chart, then just make it like one color, or just do it like every other color or whatever. Very easy, very simple design, very forgiving. If you have any questions about this lovely shawl, please let me know. I will try my best to add more about it in the description, and hopefully you guys see it in a better light and a nice little photo shoot, since she's not getting her photo shoot right now. Bye.